This is the air ride setup, which is the bellows, and the can, which is an original 1959 style, that we're going to show you how to put the bellows into here. And also what we have is, for temporary, to demonstrate for the rear end, we have this fitting that we have made right here, and it's basically a Schrader valve with the same threads that go in there, and that way we can air up the bag and the bellows. So let's take a moment and let's see how we can get these guys in here. What we're going to do is we're going to use a combination of just a little tire soap right here, which is going to kind of facilitate us getting the bellows into the can, as well as some bead sealer. And it's one of those things where it's any little bit, that soap just kind of helps facilitate getting in there. And it takes a little bit of elbow grease.
A little effort there.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, because if it went in really easy, it might not seal properly.
So now we can sneak in, and the best tool I found doing the other one is the finger. And I'm going to get in there and apply some of this sealer. You might want to wear gloves. Bob's going to give it a little burst of air. The fitting will allow us to hold some air pressure while we manipulate the bag into position.
And get it. And what's great is once we get it seated into position, that's where we can move forward from. So now we're going to actually change over and use a regular air chalk that you would use to fill up your air tire. It's also a good time to make sure that you don't have any leaks or anything like that, or any imperfections in the rubber right there.
Yeah.
Everything looks nice and consistent. The compound that we put in there, it's going to want to seat for a little bit, so I say give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, at least
with
that.
With a small amount of air pressure in there just to keep everything pressed together. Then actually when this is mounted in the vehicle, this is inverted. This part here where the lower control arm mates with it is actually pushed way up in here. It's turned inside out basically. And so this curves in, which puts more pressure to seal the bead itself. So what we want to make sure is that the fitting for the airline is facing towards the front of the vehicle, and the two studs mount into the eccentric holes in the receptacle on the frame. So when we set this in place, that allows us to slide it side to side to line it up with the lower control arm. This part of the spring, or of the airbag spring, fits into a recess in the control arm. And this is what moves up and down as the vehicle goes over bumps in the road. So we'll go ahead and get this bolted in place. So now we'll take and go ahead and use a standard tire chuck here and put some air into the bag. Watch the suspension raise up and stop when it reaches the full extension of the shock absorber.